Hello everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Rohan Paulpillai, one of the greats of the club, described by Dick Norris as the best batter he's ever seen at the club, and that expands 70 years. So Rohan, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Lee. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Wonderful. We want to explore a few things about you, find a little bit about yourself, the person, and also go back over your history. You were born in Colombo.
That's correct. I'm born in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and I spent my first, 18 or 19 years playing cricket there. Once I toured with the under-19 side and played one international game, I basically migrated to Australia for one season and ended up, spending the next, let me see now, 33 years here.
You must have been a very talented schoolboy cricketer in Sri Lanka because you were picked up early in the international youth teams.
Yeah, I did. So the reason I actually came to Australia was there's this award that is awarded to the schoolboy cricketer of the year, and I was actually runner-up. But the cricketer who won it couldn't make the trip, so I actually got the opportunity to, come and play at North Melbourne. That's how I actually got here.
So you came out here in roughly 86, 87 and had a year with North playing in the firsts and a couple of games in the seconds. How did you find the Australian wickets when you came out?
That was a big challenge. Growing up on turning wickets and slow wickets, it took me, almost all summer to get used to the bouncy tracks, and we were North was joined with Geelong at the time, so it was a challenge. It'll probably take a good 12 months to get used to the bounce here, so it did take me a while to get used to that.
You went back to Sri Lanka after 12 months and then got an invitation to come out to Preston. How did that actually arise?
That actually, Dave Norris, Richard's brother, who was working with a colleague of mine who I actually stayed with while I was out here. When I was leaving, I indicated that I wanted to come back, and things, just fell into place, and I had a call from Richard offering me this contract. I won't tell you how much the contract was because I don't think many of the cricketers will get out of bed these days even to come to training for that. But that was 1987, and that was that time that was a lot of money for me. For a young kid from Colombo, so that was good. But that was not the reason I came anyway.
So you arrived in time for the 87-88 season, and you had a immediate and profound impact on the team. You scored 600 runs at 54 in your first year, so you adapted very quickly to sub-district wickets.
Yeah, I think I found it very much more easier. The wickets are very similar to the wickets back home. I fitted into Preston really well. The guys, I was accepted as soon as I walked through the door. So I didn't actually feel any difference. I just, it was as if I had, just been playing in another club back home. So that's what I think my mental state at the time was really good. So it was very easy to just go out there and, back.
You were telling me in the preamble discussions that we had that you had a unique way of getting to a match in the early days, coming by train.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have my driver's license at the time, and I think at one stage I lived in Blackburn, so I used to just catch two trains and get to the game. If Brian Duggan was in the ones, he would pick me up and bring me to the game, but if he was in the twos, I would just catch the train. And I think it might have been that year that I remember catching the train and making my first 100. I left home at, the game was at 1. I left home at 8:30 or 9 o'clock to get to the game. But I managed to get a lift home because Brian, would come back after the seconds game, and then I got a lift home, but I remember catching the train to that game.
Was it in your second year that you got married?
Yeah, I remember, so 88, second or third year, I did remember getting married on a Friday, and I didn't tell many of the people in the club, but I think Ravi came to my wedding, and that was about it. And I came in the next day and I made 100, and everyone said, what, your form's back? And I said, yeah, probably because I got married last night, and that that was a shock, I think.
Now the second year You made 620, so unbelievable consistency, but you made it at 62. So you're well and truly sort of settled in. You were starting to be part of a very strong side at Preston. Back in those days would have been under Neil Kilpatrick. How did you find Neil?
Neil was very good. I mean, he was a good teacher. He sort of, you know, he had his. I mean, he was a school teacher, so he thought he sort of had his own way of doing things. But he was a really good captain, and he built. You know, Preston were very, very successful in this era, and he basically built that side. So Neil was great. And I remember, I think, you know, spending my 21st birthday at Neil's place with, you know, most of it, because I had no family out here, and that was also, you know, something I, you know, remember with fond memories.
The team was so successful. You played in 3 losing grand finals and 2 winning premierships, including a championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we lost. I mean, the first one to Ivanhoe, we were totally outplayed. I think Andrew Wildsmith made 100, and they were the best team all year. And then the second one, I think it was to Melton. We lost the toss, and they made 200 plus. And I think, you know, in the 80s and early 90s, 200 was a very good score in a grand final, and most sides would defend it. And I think we had 4 runouts. We just could not get a move on. And I think I got 24, 25 and got out. And unfortunately, we lost that, but that only, I think, you know, made us stronger. And, you know, we went on to win, you know, 2 premierships and a championship. And also, I think it you know, built the club up to which direction it wanted to take. And that was a good time, yeah.
So you come into 91, 92, which was the championship year. So
yeah.
Greg is at the helm at this stage, Greg Hopper. How did you find Greg?
Greg was, I mean, if you compare the 2 captains, he was very much more aggressive. I mean, you know, he would let you, you know, do your own thing and play your own game and stuff like that. So he had a different approach to Neil. But of course, Greg came in. I mean, we had Ravi at the time, and, you know, we had a couple of other boys who had come in. So he almost came and took over a ready-made team. So, but in the same breath, you know, he had everyone behind him, and you know, those 2 years we won the flag and won the championship. We had a really good all-round side. Yeah. And I think throughout the year, everyone contributed in some way or another. So there wasn't one standout, or, you know, everyone played their part. That was our success, I think.
You made in the premiership year 716 at 55, which is just outstanding. What's your memories of the grand final championship game?
The grand final I remember fondly, because I think I had failed in the other 2 grand finals, and I thought, look, this is what counts in, you know, at least in Australia, playing grand finals and winning them. Mm-hmm. And I did put a bit of extra pressure on myself to, you know, tough it out there a bit more. I think, you know, don't play so many loose shots, and, you know, don't give your wicket away easy. So, and I remember making, I think 78 or 79, but batting 40 overs and just holding up one end, and everyone chipped in for the others on the other end. And I think we ended up making 220 or 200, somewhere close to that anyway. And I think on the second day, at any stage did we look like getting beaten. That was a good score, and I think we were confident we could, even though they had Wildsmith in their side, that we could, you know, defend that score.
The following year, we won the grand final. We were premiers.
Yeah.
You batted for the year at 39, and the grand final, which I think was played at Caulfield, was rain affected. But you made 57 and were man of the match.
Yeah, I try to think back on that, and I think of the rain-affected game. I can't remember much about my innings. I don't know why that sort of eludes me at the moment. But I remember Ravi made some runs in that game. And again, we had a similar side. We hadn't picked up anyone. And again, at any stage, I don't think we were going to lose that final as well.
You certainly played in the most successful era in the club's history that I'm aware of. For people watching, just an indication of your career. If I just go through a couple of things, you played in 8 seasons, 104 games. You won the club championship on 5 consecutive times. You won the batting average 7 times. You made 6 centuries, played in 2 premierships and 3 losing grand finals. I mean, that is just one hell of a career.
Thank you. I always think, you know, when you walk into a place and feel comfortable and, you know, you have good leaders at the club, it makes everything, you know, it makes your job so much easier.
Yeah.
I think I always felt I was part of Preston, and so that was, I think that contributed to my success there. Yeah, definitely.